Hey everybody, it's Bust with Battles with Bust number 521, and today we're doing battle with Norra Elder Dragon. And so this will be our second single copy Elder Dragon deck. We've covered off on Elites, which is a fairly straightforward edition of the Elder Dragon, right? If we look at a deck like Elites, it's almost 100% Demacia. You'll oftentimes branch outside of Demacia for things like Rite of Negation, but it's not a deck that really gains much from other factions, even with the new elites coming out of Shurima, and it can live very well at home all within Demacia. So if you add a single copy of the Elder Dragon to the deck, it's a very low opportunity cost. You're not going to draw him very frequently, but he does allow you to now give those boon bonuses to the Scout Elite and to Jarvan and to Jarvan Dad, and then however many of the other expensive cards you might want to include your deck, like Cythria, the Bold, or whatever. You have a lot of options up there at the top end. But as we branch away from that and move over into this Norra deck, we are actually looking to use the deck building aspects of the Elder Dragon, and we are also going to be using the boon-based aspects as well. And so as we do look at the Elder Dragon decks, this is what I suspect we're going to see mostly at Worlds. There's a bunch of different flavors of these Elder Dragon style of decks, be it with Norra, be it in PNZ for access to Janna or Seraphine or whatever. This style of Elder Dragon is something that you need to be very familiar with. And so there are kind of two aspects of what's really going on here as far as the Elder Dragon goes. If you remember back 4 or 5 months ago, there were a lot of Bandle City Gen decks running around. This is very similar to those in that Gen would allow the Bandle City decks to play both Lord Broadmane and Riptide Rex. You could use the unnerfed version of Condense, and then you could set up these turns to where you play Lord Broadmane, you condense him, you get a second Broadmane, and you're able to just kill off another unit for 1 mana. Or you could set up these turns to where you deal a point of damage to your opponent, you play Riptide Rex, you condense your Riptide Rex and play Riptide Rex again, and then you're able to get that big cannon barrage off twice within the same turn. And so it wasn't a real Norra deck per se. It was just Norra is a nice defensive unit that lets you stall into the late game. You get to play this Bandle City removal that works fantastically with Lord Broadmane, and then you had the condense aspect to go big off of your Broadmane and your Riptide Rex. And so that's piece number one that this deck gets out of the Elder Dragon, right? We get to play these cards that naturally cost 6 mana or more. Lord Broadmane and Riptide Rex both cost more than 6 mana. That lets us add those back into this Bandle City shell without having to play cards like Gen, right? Gen is just not a particularly effective unit in that style of deck. He's really just there for the deck building aspect, and then maybe 15-20% of your games you might get to attack with a flipped Gen, whatever. It's just not what he's really there for. The big key to this deck was the Broadmane, the Riptide Rex, the cheap removal, and then the condense. But the other piece of the puzzle that gets added into this now is the boon aspect. And what we're really going to be getting out of the boons are going to be the fresh cards up here at the top end of the spectrum with the Wiggly Burblefish and the Plaza Guardian. And so as we do have this very spell-heavy deck, this is designed in a way to where we're able to churn off tons and tons of spells with Otterpuss generating spells, Conchologist generating spells, Portal Pioneer generating spells, playing a Trinket Trade to generate an Otterpuss, which generates another spell. You just have tons and tons of spells that comes out of all of these things, and that lets us get into this space to where we can add Wiggly Burblefish and Plaza Guardian to the board for between 0 and 2 mana. Now that we have the Elder Dragon in our deck and these units were naturally expensive, we get to attach the boon to them as well. And so Wiggly Burblefish, a unit that was, reasonably strong in its own right, 2-1 stat line's not that big of a deal, but let's be real, he always finds a way to grow. And playing Wiggly Burblefish as a 2-1 Deathless, or playing it as a 4-3 double impact are just very, very powerful ways to come in and take advantage of this thing. Same thing applies to the Plaza Guardian. Adding any of these big boon-based keywords to him is just pie, a little bit of extra cream to the top of the pie, if you will. Is that right? Cream on your pie? That sounds incredibly sexual. But Plaza Guardian, creaming on your pie out here, getting the job done. I'm not certain where that was supposed to go, but we're certainly going to leave it in the video. But the same idea kind of applies there, right? He has the cost reduction, he gets the bonuses from the Elder Dragon boons, and he's really able to come down and give us these really high impact late game turns, and then even reduce the cost of the Elder Dragon, right? As you caught our Elites video, we played maybe 5 or 6 games, we legitimately cast the Elder Dragon and won. had some potential opportunities to cast it in another one. It's a very, very castable unit in this style of deck with the Burblefish and the Plaza Guardians coming down on the cheap. Playing an 8 or 9 mana Elder Dragon is certainly on the table, even though we're only playing one copy. And so that is it. That is the deck we're doing battle with today. But before the battles begin, you know what we got to do. We got to pay that pay-to-win price. And Lord Broadmane, I don't know, he's holding a coin. He probably likes pie. It's probably one of his favorite things in life. Let's go ahead, get him that little bit of an upgrade, and we'll go ahead and jump on into battle. Good stuff. Good stuff. Coming out with the Broadmanes. We'll probably get 2 games in within the next hour, and so buckle up your seatbelts and strap in because you're gonna be here a while. Oh man. All right, so what do we got? Kicking things off against Deep. Very important matchup for Lord Broadmane. We'll have to see. He's not... Oh, he is playing Maokai. I was like, awesome. He's not playing Maokai because this deck does have a little bit of trouble ending games quickly. And if an opponent does get to play a flipped Maokai, we are going to be struggling in terms of finishing the game off before we get decked. But see how it goes. And so with this, I was just trying to hard mulligan for Norra. As far as our early game units go, we don't really have any aggression. We don't have a lot of cards that line up well with what Deep is doing. And so Norra is kind of the just premier early game thing that we have access to. Otherwise, we're just going to be derping around and just trying to find ways to churn off mana because there's not a lot of good targets for the majority of our cards here. And he has the removal. Damn. I was hoping in this space the kind of normal removal that you're going to see coming out of here would be the drain, the 3 mana drain 2. And I was like, well, you know, if we get the he played the card so he doesn't have the mana this turn, so our Norra should be fairly safe. But it wasn't quite the way that it came out, and so bummer. Alright, we'll get the little Otterpuss on board. The other cards off the Trinket trade weren't that exciting. Might as well spew a Portal Palooza. If we hit the unit fast, we might actually get to attack this turn. Looks like we do. Get in there, patched Porobot. But you can see, we're getting some pretty nice cost reduction on these Burblefish already, right? We've played 2 spells at this point. We have a Prank in hand. We have a cycle with the Portal Palooza. It's not too crazy to think that we can't pull this off. Now, this isn't a very, very, very aggressive Maokai. This is giving us an opportunity to get him removed, and this most certainly gives us a chance to actually win this game. And so I do want to get damage onto Maokai this turn so that we can just try and kill him with Lord Broadmane next turn. It's going to be a very important thing here. So we want to get the Otterpuss on board. We have to be dealing combat damage to it. Like, hitting it with Wallop doesn't feel good. Looks like that's going to be the space we're stuck in, is having to Wallop this Maokai so that we can hit him with the Broadmane next turn. But I'm willing to do it. Again, you know, this is a spot to where, you know, I'm not certain how seasoned of a Deep player this guy is. I'm most certainly not a seasoned Deep player, but I know that the high impact thing he's going to do is kill us with Maokai. And so, you know, if he has to wait to get a second Maokai way later in the game because he got this one on board aggressively, awesome. Yeah, we got to dome him fast. There's a very real chance this Maokai can flip if he gets access to a little bit of speed here. He only needs 10 to get the hit. Yeah, this Elder Dragon might be actually coming down. So let's see. Definitely want to pick up the Deathless here. Keep our Broadmane on the board even through a removal spell. Now let's see how this goes. Okay. He dies. He comes back. Oh no, we didn't come back. Why didn't you come back? Did we not have Deathless on him? What did I miss? Did I click the wrong one? What just happened? Oh, he did it with the Deathless on the stack. Okay. That makes a little bit more sense now. Sure thing. Took me a hot minute there. I was like, I got so excited with the Deathless we were going to get the kill right away, and maybe not the case. Maybe not the case. So yeah, this is definitely losable now. I mean, it was losable already, but the Maokai flip is certainly going to be incoming. So I'm just gonna Portal Palooza and start casting Burblefish here. We gotta get on board fast, and this is gonna be our fastest way to do it. No reason to take heal at this point. So we want to just block the thing we can kill. We're about to go big on board. Maybe taking a couple of points off the Devour of the Depths isn't that bad, since it's going to get it in the space to where it can't profitably block the Plaza Guardian. It's still kind of meh in the sense that where are we at? Oh, he's going to have these blockers on board for him, but I think that's okay. Alright, guy comes in. What are the chances? He's let's see, salvage gets him at 6. Well, we want to cast some spells here anyways. Let's send in this group shot, see if we hit it. Okay, he had a second Maokai in hand. Seemed like that came out of the left though. It looked like it was to the left of that salvage, so he just drew it here extremely recently. Now with this, I'm not entirely certain the way to go with this turn. I mean, I'm leaning towards playing Scrap Heap, discarding Plaza Guardian, getting the free Burblefish, playing Burblefish, attacking, assuming the attack goes through, and then getting to play Riptide Rex and maybe getting Maokai off the board before he can flip, right? It's not a super likely course of action, but I think it gives us a shot. Pick up the double impact for Burblefish, so even if he has a blocker, we can try and get the impact in. God damn it. It's just every angle, like this is a poor matchup for us. It's just like every angle this game has gone completely wrong though. Maybe we can still fight our way out of it. If he's not playing Undergrowth, then we should have plenty of time, I think. So we'll pick up the 1/1 and tough. Fearsome doesn't do a ton in this space.
Careful, Think Tangle's real easy.
And then let's stop here. We can still get the Riptide Rex on board next turn. We can send Poison Dart directly to the face. And get it that way. We could have done that this turn, right? That was probably something that was on the table and I just missed it. Seems like... See, no, yeah, we played Burblefish and got the Poison Dart. Maybe we had that there. I can't quite tell. It might have been our mistake of the game. Let's be real, we probably made many mistakes of the game, but that was the big one. I mean, is Elder Dragon bigger than Nautilus? Should be, right? No. we don't have the boosts on board. I think this is okay, but alright, Elder Dragon, you can still do it. You can still do it. So do we want to just stop here? very limited in what he can do. He's gonna probably just have to spend the 8 mana on salvage. Like, I guess the cheap unit could come on the board in the shipwreck order, but he doesn't have a ton of stuff left over. Alright, we'll probably be getting this Plaza Guardian on board. The big thing here is, I mean, the Riptide Rex hasn't been spectacular up to this point, but that's kind of is what it is. It's a little bit my fault that we haven't given it a ton of room to shine. What do we got? Got the impacts again. Got Nautilus off the board. That's going to keep him from playing both the salvage and the shipwreck order this turn. But see, this should kind of just like... he just has another one anyways. This should kind of showcase the importance of that Maokai, though. You know, we still have a few draws left that we can roll through, but his stat line's pretty important there, or his level 2 is pretty important there. Alright, what you got, Plaza Guardian? None of these are Challenger. That would have been the big one. Deathless would have been okay as well. Kind of a bummer. I think we could look to just attack with Riptide Rex. There's no telling what's still in our deck, but getting these points of impact in could be important. Just sucks to trade Riptide Rex with the Devourer. Let it go. I think we're going to be too far behind in terms of dealing damage now. Do have all these sweet elusives though. So we can give it one of these. We'll keep the impact unit and Riptide Rex. And then we're gonna look to use Burblefish. We'll try and use the Shadow Tech. Sure. And see where we can get in terms of damage that way. Anything big? Anything sweet? Maybe Lightning Rush can do a little bit. Don't care about that guy. We can start with some of these, right? We can Lightning Rush. Oh no! No, the Conchologist might be better, right? The Riptide Rex doesn't have too much guarantees that he's actually going to be dealing any damage here. Here's a Condense. That's a little closer. So Burblefish, take the bonus stats. Shadow Tech Walker can come in. We didn't manage this mana right, did we? We needed one more mana to do the... Oh, we can still Riptide Rex. Okay. Oh, a second Riptide Rex. Oh, man. So where are we at? We can look at the Bandle Tellstones to pick up the Heroic Refrain. And we can Heroic Refrain our 2 elusives. They're going to attack. Riptide Rex comes in. He's going to deal the 2 impact damage here, right? But then we're going to condense him, and then we're going to play the second Riptide Rex to get the kill. That's where the sauce is, my dudes. That's where the magic happens. Get ready to squeeze them cheeks, fellas. Get ready to squeeze them. Tight and good. Tight and good. Oh, even a puff cap coming in for that one extra point of damage. Oh, snap, fam jam. Did we do it? Did we steal this one? Oh, no. You pick up our removal spell? That's some bullshit. It does give us an extra turn, though. It does give us an extra turn. Right, because we got one card left in our deck. Now we have 2 cards, so we'll get to cycle around to our next turn now. No need to heal. Go with the impact again. What we got? We didn't deal any damage, but we do get to kill 3 units. One's a sapling, which is kind of whatever, but he's not playing like Keelbreaker and just killing us, you know. Then that's a perk. That's a bonus. He's probably going to be leaning on that treasure trove. So I'll go ahead and put the Shadow Tech Walker in. And then we'll look to put a combat reel on it just in case he wants to play the Keelbreaker.
Life above all.
I mean, can he even realistically play it?
Persistence is key. Locrex, launch.
Even, let me check. If I'm tossed, draw me, deal 5 to all units. Okay, he does still have this treasure trove, which could pull up something to deal damage, but I think this is okay. Can't cast any of it until next turn. What one card would be even left in this dumb deck? Like a Vengeance? Vengeance might do it? Or is he just drawing Maokai's at this point? He did shuffle one Maokai back into his deck. Might as well just heal, right? Alright, Burbs, let's get him. Zing him real good. Oh, man. Oh, man. Here they come. So the one card is Maokai, right? Riptide. That makes sense as the other one. The thing that he's just shuffling back in over and over and over again. Huh. I wonder if we should have played the Plaza Guardian first as a way to maybe hit impact. So we were really just like coin flipping right here at the end, weren't we? If he... No. No, it doesn't make sense. Two to the Nexus. Come on. How many cards we got left? 1. Alright, fine. Oh, what a bunch of nonsense. Man, look at that. Look at that. Look how close that... Whew. I don't know. I don't feel like we deserved that one, but we almost got it at the end of the day. Man, I feel like there was something in there that we might have slightly missed. There was that turn where we had the poison dart and didn't do anything with it. I think there might have been something there, but those are the games, man. Whenever you're like, wow, this deep matchup is really terrible. Why does it only have a 75% win rate? that. Sometimes you get to pull off stuff like that. All right, on to the next one, though, up against Karma Sett. This should be another fairly painful matchup. The thing that gets me with these kind of Norra-based decks is they have like a nice window of things that they're good against, but once your deck gets to a certain point of slowness, then it has a really tough time beating them. And so it can struggle with the decks that intend to be a little bit slower. Now, the decks like Ramp can be okay. It's very dependent on your Lord Broadmanes, right? If your opponent is trying to ramp into like Volibear and a bunch of big shit, like if you're able to stick a Broadmane and you can just removal spell all of their units, it's not that bad, but it still can be a fairly big struggle in terms of them just being bigger than what you're doing. It's been Norra's problem across history, as to where if you're not playing some kind of aggro-ish Norra deck that can finish off with a bunch of like unit boosts to close out a game. Like I had a Norra deck that I like to play using pack mentality to give all of your units +2/+2 and overwhelm. Like if you're not doing stuff like that, then it definitely hits a brick wall. But reasonable enough start. We got our Norra here to go. We'll go ahead and swing in. I maybe could have gotten a point of damage in with the Portal Pioneer. Like this is the turn they usually want to play a ramp spell. As you could see with that last game, every point of damage is extremely important. Might have missed out on it here. Like, I think there shouldn't be ways that he like slow speed stops our Norra. Like if we play the Portal Pioneer and then he plays the ramp spell that gives you a 2/2. I think we're still just kind of safe at that point. We just don't attack with our 1/1, right? Right, that's where you say right, Bust. You're so spot on about literally everything all the time. That's what that's what you should be saying. But looking like an attack with everybody here. He's probably going to put his 2/2 in front of the Sculptor. I don't feel like there's a ton of need for Durandi Sculptors in this match. It just doesn't really do anything. Oh, wow. Wow, huh? Just the random one drop directly into Omen Hawk. That's a way to live life. Directly into Omen Hawk. And then we hit an ephemeral on the portal. Okay. Okay, life. If that's how we're gonna be today, I guess that's how we're gonna be. Got this fleeting Plaza Guardian as well. It's probably what I get. I did manage to. I don't know if it's like accurate to say I spiked the Powerball for $100. You know, if you spike the Powerball, you should be getting big dollars, big figures. And so I don't know if that's an accurate way to say it, but we definitely spiked the Powerball a couple of weeks ago for $100, and so we're probably due for some of this some of this negative value. So can we just continue to get guys on board? He's going to be looking to play Karma this turn, so I do want to keep a little bit of mana back. But I don't think he's going to get too crazy. Probably want the damage. I always see these tricksy tentacles, but this isn't the kind of spot to where it's going to be particularly good. Well, maybe it's not bad. Like, if he's going to play coin generators. God, look at that. What a fucking life this is. Anyways, if he's going to be playing coin generators this turn, and then we potentially have the chance to snipe his coin out of his hand, that's not terrible. Maybe we should have thought of that. Sure. I was going to say, I saw us drop down below 6 mana, and I was like, I wonder what the chances are that we're just gonna roll into something we can never play. That's what we hit. Losing out on a Broadmane's kind of meh. Man, so this is what's gonna happen. He's gonna like tag out the thing back to his hand, and then he's gonna have like 4 coins, and we're gonna miss out on the opportunity to coin down. But here's where we'll stop. I do want to keep, casting spells so we can get these Plaza Guardians down on the cheap and stuff. And then we still have ways in hand to kill a Karma with Broadmane on the board. Interesting. So he just doesn't have Karma? Or he's just looking for a bigger bait from us?
Free and lonesome as a summer breeze.
Nina. I wonder, this is very important how he picked the targets. Yeah, he did it in the wrong order. He could have put, say, like the newt fish back in our hand and then sent away our Broadmane and our Saiyan Thousand Tailed. He didn't do it. So let's go ahead and wallop. I was gonna say, I bet we'll see the newt fish come into hand given how he played his cards. But alright, let's stop there. We'll start building up into these Riptide Rexes. Maybe that's the kind of thing, like, as we did come in and take his unit off of the board with the Perilous Pastry, we could have used that Perilous Pastry to start activating our Riptide Rexes. Like, that's probably just how we win this game, is through Riptide Rex, and so might have been a little bit aggressive in what we were doing there.
Noxians are not the monsters they make us out to be.
But do want to keep casting these spells. I mean, he's not doing anything. That's not Karma. I did the mathematics on that one. That is not Karma. Alright, what you got, Burblefish? You going with the Deathless out of this? Alright, stuff's happening. So, I mean, we definitely want to start getting these Riptide Rexes down this turn. I think we would like to try and bait just a little bit. Like, is Plaza Guardian even worth it? Taking a 3-bank into next turn is so good, though. Dude gets zinged real fast with the Lord Broadmane on board. And there's the Karma. I wasn't certain if we were going to be able to get out of that, right? Let's see. Might as well go for the takedown, right? That draws a bunch of cards, but your Karma still dies. Okay. So now we're kind of hopefully in the spot to where, you know, if he plays a Harsh Winds and then plays a Karma and only has 1 mana behind, that's still pretty good for us. So I think this will still be a fairly manageable turn next round. Getting up into that Elder Dragon mana space, though. Might just might get up to the 75 power before you know it. This is gonna be a 10, 16, 20 power attack. So I don't expect this to be lethal ever. He's going to have concussive palms. He's going to have harsh winds and stuff. But again, as long as he's not like getting karma on the board, then we're in good shape. I think we're hitting for 12. Another one of these dum-dums. So the Riptide Rex is short. He's going to deal 5. We can still win from here. We can Riptide Rex, and then we can get Electro Harpoon off of the Bandle Tailstones. I don't think the Tailstones has to target a unit, right? It can just deal 2 to a Nexus. Guess we're about to find out. Okay. Press skip on the unit part, 2 to the Nexus part. GG. Well played. Oof. Managed to stake out victory. That's tough, though. I wonder at what point he had karma and was like, well, I just can't... I can't find a spot to get her on board because it's not safe, or if he just didn't draw her. It's tough to tell. I didn't see where she came out of his hand that game. Alright, next battle, though. What is this, Ashe LeBlanc? That was a weird-ass Ashe skin. They make these Coven skins and they're all so scary, you know? Alright, though. Ashe LeBlanc, right? We gotta keep the earlier portions of our curve. The trinket trade could be okay. Just using it to try and trinket trade into an Otterpuss and get a block in for a turn. Probably, well, maybe we should have mulliganed for better removal. But we're not playing the bigger removal at this point, right? We're not playing drop the bombs or anything capable of just killing a LeBlanc on its own.
Sharpen the blade, secure the kill.
Right, so again, I'm going to try and protect this Norra if we can. It's not the end of the world if she dies here. So we'll see how that goes. Let's just add in Conchologist, see if we hit it here first. Proximity Puff Cap is kind of in the maybe space. You know, if we do hit a portal, it's going to kick up to 3 and then be able to kill a LeBlanc. I think that might be good enough. It's kind of random in how it's going to play out, but I think it's okay.
You're mine.
Still going to play another one here and see what turns up. Don't really want either of these spells. We'll just take the Otterpuss here and then we'll call it a day.
Easy does it.
Alright, there's the group shot. He never blocks these units with LeBlanc, right? Even the Otterpuss? I don't think so. Let's just attack. You can say, I bet we get it, and then we can play the Puff Cap after combat.
Faster than my arrow? I think not.
Still want to take down LeBlanc. I'm not as worried about Ashe. I don't care about him getting value hooks with the Tefarian Glory Seeker. He'll probably just kill the Glory Seeker anyways, right? Seems reasonable to me. I don't think we care about Brittle Steel. We'll just make the Saurion a little bit worse. Alright, not bad, not bad. We can start blocking his units, dropping a little bit of damage on them, and then get to Broadmane time before you know it. Not even playing, and not even Broadmaning out here today. So how do we feel about these? Good choices within the Wallop and the Condense. Like, we're not very close to getting killed in terms of the Wallop, but it is still good in terms of like working with the Broadmane. Kind of leaning towards it. I don't think this is a real Condense kind of space. It feels like we don't need that big value to finish off the game. So now we can drop the Wallop onto Ashe, keep her from attacking, keep her from leveling up. It should keep Snowdog from attacking since the Vanguard Sergeant will just kill him. And now it seems like we're in pretty good shape.
Noxians are not the monsters they make us out to be.
Get him, Broadmane. She still dies. She still takes the 2 damage from the thing.
Unify the tribes.
We march!
Dum Dum can't block, so we get the free attack with the Vanguard Sergeant. It's important. This chip damage isn't meaningless if we're going to be finishing off games with damage from...
I need just a moment.
finishing off games with damage from Riptide Rex. So I'm just going to go Saiyan here, draw some cards. We're in pretty good shape as far as the board's concerned. He's not going to kill us. If he attacks and we lose all of our units this turn, I'm not even really upset about that. These attacks just look like booty chowder to me, and so I think we're okay.
I protect my own.
He doesn't deal any damage. He's losing cards. We just have an embarrassment of riches remaining in our hand. I think this is good. Pick up Challenger. We might use it, you know? Probably not, but if he taps out and we find a good attack, I'm not opposed to sending the Broadmane in.
I will unite the Freljord.
Alright, so he's picked up a Harsh Winds.
Home is just around the portal.
Don't know what that last card is.
Skip and a hop.
Just so tempting to attack with Broadmane.
Only the finest.
Oh, that's a good one. That's when I... Oh, that makes no sense. I was going to say, well, that's when I wouldn't mind attacking down with Broadmane so he doesn't get to draw any more cards. But I don't think he's going to get to draw any more cards anyways, so scratch that one. This has to be done, though. I feel like this was concedable around 8 turns ago. It's been brutal for me. I've been running into this deck quite a bit. I've still been trying to hit masters with that Targon Overwhelmed deck, and the Broadmane matchup is brutal. It's just like as you're out here trying to develop one gigantic unit,
All seek an end to war, friends.
and they have access to Broadmanes, and it's like, okay, I've got like a 3-drop, and I put a Bone Club on it, and then he's just like, "LOL, watch this." It's a Lord Broadmane, and he starts to kill it just for 2 mana. Like the matchup is brutally painful.
I'll do it myself.
But I'll run into these spots to where it's like, this game is done like 90% of the time, but I have an Overwhelm unit with a Battle Fury, and so I gotta I gotta stick it out to be sure.
Say,
Let's do this. He's just gonna be playing Harsh Winds here, so let's try and take down the dog. And we can call it a day from this point. Oh, Ashe already has damage on her. We could have just pie tossed Ashe. I got into story time mode and it wore me down a little bit. Let's just continue to kill stuff. There's probably a better way to go about this, but I'm getting real autopiloted here, and so we'll just go ahead and add in the Plaza Guardian. I saw our damaged Broadmane and considered the heal, but the Broadmane can still hook the Omen Hawk and survive. And then we'll be playing the Saiyan Thousand-Tailed next turn. Is it even more promising just to go for the 4 Demacia? I think it might be.
Victory requires a sharp blade.
Alright, give him a 9 cost on the old Harsh Winds. Drop the 4 Demacia. All of our attacks here are quite spectacular. May not win the game this turn, but again, it was done 7 minutes and 11 turns ago. So, I don't know what else to tell you about this one. There you at.
I'll protect the villages.
All right, not a lethal.
This will be
He
quick.
got some blocks in. He's gonna cast a Harsh Winds. I was hoping to get in another game after this, but that's the way this shit goes, huh? I don't know. Realistically, what is Ashe LeBlanc hitting here? Are you going to draw a Naka and be like, okay, well, my chances to a Naka into a Naka into a Naka into overwhelm unit? It still doesn't even win the game. Like, it doesn't even win the game. Why are we still here? All right. I think we can finish it next turn. if we can double Riptide Rex, that might be enough.
I'll cut them apart.
So he's got a Brittle Steel and one more card that we don't know about.
What do you say?
We'll just do the most defensive thing we can. If he's got Harsh Winds, okay. Otherwise, we take 0 damage. We get the kill on his thing. Finally. Oof, okay. God, we're almost at the 50-minute mark.
A journey's end is just
I think that's where we're gonna call it. These games have been so long. All right, we'll get one more in. You gotta keep eyeballing the clock in terms of the Chiefs game as well, and so I think we'll get one more in. Hopefully, it'll be quick. Don't get mad at me. Blame it on that guy. We did spend a lot of time playing against Deep though. Alright, final battle. What do we got here? The mirror match. Except his has Norra in it. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'm not super familiar with these mirror matches, but I'm pretty certain a lot of it just comes down to Riptide Rex, and so I'm going to go ahead and hold on to him. I'm going to look towards Riptide Rexes and Condenses, and to the best of my knowledge, the big thing that this comes down to is just casting Riptide Rex over and over again. And so that's what we're going to try and do here. Now, again, I'm not the mirror match master. This is just things that I've heard on Twitter. Not even about this match, but about the who's he called? The so it just keeps slipping my mind. The Gen version. There you go. The Gen version was very centered on Riptide Rex.
Off we go. This isn't the way.
Alright, not letting you get the portal for free. Wouldn't be surprised to see our Norra get popped by a group shot or something, but at the end of the day, it's not that big of a deal. So there is probably a limit to how much Riptide Rexing we need to do, but these cards all kind of suck, so I think we are going to be taking the other Condense. Now, remember, you can condense your opponent's units, and so if he leads off with a Broadmane, and then we need to Broadmane down his Broadmane, we do have the options in terms of what that can do. Let's drop off a prank. What do we got here? He's got a Riptide Rex in hand. We didn't hit the plus cost on him, but we can hit it on the Condense. And then I'll bank up the mana the rest of the way in case we want to try and cast a Portal Palooza. Like, I gotta feel like he's just gonna open attack, and we wouldn't have had the chance to prank beforehand. Maybe we still should have waited. Alright, everybody's paloozing. Get him. Get them aggros in. Level up that Elder Dragon. What are you at now? 5? 5 of 75? That's pretty good. That's pretty big. That's a large number, huh? What do we got here? We can't find the plus cost onto Riptide Rex. Kind of is what it is. Everybody hits a portal. We got a removal spell in ours, though. I'm much happier about hitting Darkness than he's going to be about hitting Mushroom Cloud. We'll just drop the Darkness. There's not... I don't think there's too much reason to try and get this stuff on board right now. Oh man, can you all imagine the world where we're playing Wiggly Burblefish with iterative improvements in the Dragon deck? That's gonna be a thing. That's gonna be a thing for certain. Eternal Season, get here. Oh man. What do we got here? That was a pretty good set of hits off of his thing. He picked up a Darkness and he picked up an Elusive. Let's go ahead and send the Trifarian. He's going to be the only unit we attack with this turn. I assume we'll probably play Burblefish next turn. But I'm a little bit worried here in terms of him just having more mana than us and being able to get his big plays going. Like, if we just pass, it's going to be a problem. The other thing here is he's definitely going to be looking to hit with Elusives and then get this this Riptide Rex going next turn. So we're going to have to deal with both of these dum-dums, but we're a bit limited in the sense that he can't Broadmane us now, so I feel safe playing our Broadmane. But you know, we need an answer to get in front of these Elusives so that he can't just get the free hit in and then drop his Riptide. So we'll see. My concern with this turn, we're going on this play onto his Ocean Drake and has Tough, right? So if we want Tough, we can deal the damage with Broadmane, that's fine. Where it falls apart is if we want to cast Pytos. Oh, it's Pytos, shit. Glad I noticed that. I was trying to set this up in terms of group shot. I thought we were going to be able to play Burblefish to make sure we have 5 units, so if we try and do a 2 damage group shot, we don't have to worry about this other stuff. But yeah, I'm glad I caught that. I'm glad I caught that this was a Pytos. Discards Darkness, interesting. Looks like he's spending mana just to spend mana. So here's what we'll do. We'll keep this 3 bank going into the next turn, and then we can just send the pie shot at his face and follow up with Riptide Rex. Now, if he plays his Riptide Rex first, we shouldn't have to worry about ours being dead. And so that does give us a bit of opportunity. He gave up his poison dart, so he's going to be counting on combat damage from this Drake to get his Rex off. Let's say no thank you to that. So there are still ways that he can deal damage directly to our face, but they should be much more limited at this point. Going to go Deathless on the Burblefish. If he does look to spend the mana this turn to play damage to face, right, then we'll get the chance to get the extra spell out of this.
Are not the monsters they make us out to be.
Alright, well it still seems like we're safe here. Let's just start casting stuff. Do we ever want to drop this bursting backpack? It's kind of an interesting one. Everybody's got a bursting backpack. It's like not something I ever really want to draw, but the puff caps can be quite relevant in terms of our Riptide Rexes. Let's just bank the mana at this point. See now, his Rex has been activated. Ideally, we're gonna have a Broadmane survive. It's like both survive. Okay. Let's see what ours does. Should have the opportunity to be a little bit more potent, given that Broadmanes. So his lives. We killed just about everything else, though. His falls down to 4. He gets Burblefish back, though. It's kind of cute. Alright, Sindon. I don't think these blocks are ever too bad, right? I mean, he is in the spot to where he can condense a Broadmane and start shooting our Broadmanes back, but yeah, I don't know. These don't strike me as very good blocks, and it gets us pretty close to the lethal. And assuming we get to untap next turn with a Broadmane on, with a Rex on the board, we still have Condense in hand. I don't know. Still, it just feels like we're really far ahead. He drew his bursting backpack, lol. Oh no, that was generated off the Burblefish. he just getting it. The Burblefish is all about him. I think we're in good shape. Ocean Drake's fine. Don't really care about any of the healing. Bring in the guy, I guess. I like Impact in here. We got this Riptide Rex again for next turn. More of these condenses up and running. Oh, he's gonna get to Rexus now, isn't he? I guess he was gonna have the stat line to do it anyways, but this isn't that scary, right? He can condense our Riptide Rex. Now that he's dealt damage to us, he can play it, try and clear out our board. But I think our units are big enough to not worry about it. Oh, we go Saiyan Thousand-Tailed. Interesting. Just going for that elusive damage. Do we ever want to copy his Burblefish to prevent a big chunk of this damage? Does he go Impact? I mean, I don't hate it. Right, because then it's going to cost 0. We can get it on board as a blocker for the turn. It'll generate a spell. And then we can play the spell and get the Plaza Guardian on board. I mean, I don't think we're at a ton of risk of dying, but... So there's a Broadmane kill. Now the Plaza Guardian's free. Also sets us up with a sweet... sets us up with a sweet damage with the Perilous Pastry if we need to. And this has to just be pretty close to ending it. Probably be another 1,000 turns. It's been pretty famous last words, but... it seems like it has to be close. I don't know, this isn't really as close as I want it to be. We just gotta start hitting them with the backpacks, huh? that's what it's all about, apparently. Just hit them with the backpack.
Ionia misconstrues our noble intentions.
And you hit tough. That kind of sucks. I mean, we do have we do have a chance to just like hook in the Broadmane right now if we want. I think that's okay. It's probably about time to send.
To the world below.
Oh, he's got tough, doesn't he? Oh, that doesn't work how I want. Alright, we're gonna have to Rex him. It gives him the chance to start dropping a bunch of spells onto our Broadmane, and if our Broadmane gets popped here, that's gonna suck a lot. Okay, didn't have it. Didn't have it. We'll just take the heal. Like, the Deathless is kind of relevant since, you know, if he dies, he's going to come back as a 8-1 or whatever it would be, a 7-1. And potentially get a bunch of combat damage in, but... maybe that would have been an angle to take if we... leaves us in this spot now to where we could have poison darted the Deathless Riptide Rex to get in for the final points of damage. God, we're so close yet so far away. So close. All right, well, we'll hang on here. Keep the Poison Dark Riptide Rex together. Try and finish the game off now. All right, he says that's enough. I had enough bust. GG, well played. Yeah, what is this? Well over an hour. the extra value for you. You're welcome. And so we can pull this up, talk about it a little bit more. And so again, that's the kind of the thing going on with these Elder Dragon decks now is you have kind of free reign to just play Lord Broadmane, Riptide Rex, and anything, and then you also have this reduced cost package with the Wiggly Burblefish Plaza Guardian, and so many spell-based strategies really tie into all of these units as to where you're just playing a bunch of burn spells, which are spells. Those work nice with the cost reduction in the Wiggly Burblefish, and then the way you typically combat a bunch of damage-based removal is playing bigger units, and the Lord Broadmane letting your removal kill bigger units kind of leaves you in this space to where, okay, now I can play this with Annie, right? I can play an Annie-based Disintegrate removal deck that also gets Lord Broadmane, Riptide Rex, and all of these spell-based units. Or I can play this with Seraphine / Janna / Karma / whatever P and Z champion, and that's going to get you in the space to where you can play all of those Mystic Shot style spells, but they still synergize with Broadmane, still synergize with Wiggly Burblefish. You even get stuff like the new spells for Seraphine and then the cost reduction things for Janna, so you have additional synergies that way. Or you can come out here and look towards Bandle City, where you have things like Group Shot, Pie Toss, you have Drop the Bomb, lots of just good, cheap removal spells that work nicely with the Lord Broadmane, and then also cycle in with the Wiggly Burblefish as well. And so, very interesting collection of synergies that you're getting out of the Elder Dragon, and it's very relevant in terms of those keywords that are popping up with us being able to say, choose Deathless or choose Tough for the Lord Broadmane, or get the heal over the course of the game just to protect us an extra 4 points or something, or getting +2/+2 impact on the Wiggly Burblefish and letting it attack for 6 points of damage now. Challenger onto Plaza Guardian. There's just like so many good things to be hitting that it works out quite nicely there. And so, powerful deck. We'll probably swing around to a couple of different versions of this over the course of the next few weeks, but I thought it was important to go ahead and get a quick one out in terms of hitting the highlights on this one. And I think Norra is one of the kind of easier ones to understand what is happening within the wheelhouse of decks that I'll actually play. And so, good stuff. Nonetheless, I had fun with that. I hope you did too, because that is going to do it for us today. So hope everyone enjoyed the video. Hope you maybe learned a thing or two along the way. You had a good time watching. This is Bust and we thank you for being here.